What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Eric McCabe here. I have Brian Shintaku with me. This is something that I kind of alluded to, I guess you would say, during my 2020 year in review, that we would be kind of sitting down and doing like a video cast / podcast, and nothing serious, like nothing crazy. We're just kind of talking about disc golf and our history in the sport, maybe some history of Emporia disc golf, just whatever topics. We don't even know yet. We don't even know the extent of this. And I can't wait to watch this in like a few years and be like, dude, that's where we started. That's what it was. Like,
And this is me.
yeah. And so everybody knows, I'm not quitting Disc Golf Answer Man by any means. I'm still going to be a part of that show weekly when I'm not out of town. This is just something I'm doing on my own with TaKo. And we're just, we have a little bit more flexibility on this, I would say, because we can do this in the evenings, or, I don't have to rely on Bobby to do everything. And this just kind of lets me have a platform, so to speak, to just talk and let people know some of the disc golf knowledge that I carry. So I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be a good time. But talk about yourself, Brian. Tell the people who you are, how you got your start in disc golf, and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, my name is Brian Shintaku. I've had the nickname of TaKo for a long time, but most people go by TaKo. And anyways, I started in disc golf probably when I was around 12 or 13. I was actually at a day camp and saw some baskets out there. Had no idea what it was, naturally.
Of course. Deer feeders?
Yeah. I was like, oh, what is
barbecue
that?
grills?
Yeah, what is it? Donnie Baker? He was like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Hooker traps.
Hooker traps.
But anyways,
That's right.
so I saw them out there, and then one day I feel like I remember watching somebody smash one in from super far, and I was like, whoa, that's what those things are there for. And they're throwing Frisbees.
Right?
My uncle taught me Ultimate, so I had some background in Ultimate. So what did I do? I rode my bike down there on one weekend and took my Ultimate disc out there, and then I started throwing at those baskets. I could figure out. I had a little background in regular golf, so I could figure out that there's this tee pad, here's this sign, and instead of yards, it was feet. Just throw it in the bucket, and I struggled.
That's like real disc golf. Like that's where the sport originated from, was with Frisbees, like actual Frisbees, like not even throwing at baskets, throwing at trees or poles or object golf, obviously, but to start the sport with an actual Frisbee, throwing an actual Frisbee out there is pretty rare now, for sure, but and it's really cool to hear that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had no idea that there was a difference. Like, I thought that what they were throwing was a Frisbee. Like, I had no idea that it was a disc. Ended up finding, I think it was like a Scorpion or something like that.
Ooh, sick.
And then that was like my first disc.
So your first disc was like a Scorpion, was a, like your first golf disc, not including the Frisbee. The actual golf disc was a Scorpion.
Yeah, which and it was just like, oh, what is this? This is way different than what I'm used to.
That's
like,
awesome.
Way smaller diameter.
It feels more professional.
Yeah, and it laughed at me.
Oh yeah.
For a long time, just going left.
Yeah, definitely. So mine, I actually have my first disc that I ever had, and this may be the first time I've ever like shown this or really talked about it very much. I do have an idea to do a not like a Cribs edition, but a check out my basement, which we're in my basement right now, but to actually give you perspective of like every disc on the wall, like the ones that mean something to me. I've got quite a few pretty rare discs, actually, and I just want to walk you guys through those at some point, not now. But for now, let's talk about this bad boy. It is a B2 Stealth from Lightning Discs. Has the coolest stamp you've ever seen on it. It's got a stealth bomber on it.
Stealth bomber, just chilling.
And it was a hand me down. So this disc has seen some serious action.
It looks like it feels so good.
Oh, it's just so chewed up.
Just the old plastic, and then if you didn't notice, there's like a million marks on this thing.
Yeah. So my buddy Jim gave it to me, and I believe his buddy Mike, who is also my buddy, gave it to him. That's who I was introduced to the sport through, was Jim Ramsey and Mike Gentry, Don Carter, a few of those old school guys from Emporia that are still around but don't really play anymore. Don't play the sport as much as they used to. But they are the ones that really introduced me to the sport. And this was their disc. And looking back now, I'm like, really? You give me a stealth? Like, really?
They're like, hey, what don't we throw?
Like, come on,
to this kid.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, here you go, bro. Here's your first disc. I'm not bashing Lightning by any means, but Innova was around then. In the '90s when I first started playing, and I'm instantly hooked, just like I am now with fishing, buying many lures that I don't need. I was like that with frisbees early on, so. Yeah. I got a bag relatively fast. A Wall City Cube bag was one of my first bags.
Oh, wow.
And then obviously graduated to the Revolution bags that everybody carried. And, the sport was so much different back then. But this was my first disc. It's something cool that I have. It's kind of who I am. I like to collect things and memorable things that mean something to me. Like if you come to my house, I have... how many baskets did I say I have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, there's a lot, yeah.
I have like 6 or 7 baskets probably, and 4 of them are very sentimental and valuable to me personally. I could probably sell them for a lot of money too if I really wanted to, if I needed to one day, but I don't think I ever would. And those 4 baskets are, we'll start with the 2 I have in my basement. One of them is my World's Trophy, obviously. That's going to be one. And funny story about that one is that used to be before we had a permanent pin on hole 16 at the island at the country club. That was the basket we used for GBO was that basket, which is kind of cool. So there's that one. 2000, what year would that have been? 15 or something like that. I don't remember the exact year, but I caddied for Paige Pierce during one of her World's victories. And I remember the week before, I think it was the week before, DGA or PDGA shared a picture of the baskets.
Nice.
Right? And just said, here's the trophies, who's going to win? And I screenshotted it and texted her and said, do you want my address to go ahead and send this to? Just jokingly, right? And she did. It just showed up at my house one day. I'm like, are you kidding me, Paige? Like, that meant so much to me because of Paige and I's past. We have a pretty deep history of traveling together, being super close, and, we've drifted apart a little now, I would say, but that's due to me not being on the road full time. Right. And I mean, I'd still do anything for the girl. I still consider her a very, very close friend. Nice. For sure. But so that's the other one, and then the other 2 I'll just name off real quick. My first Ace basket is in the front yard.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's it's a Mach 3, one of the original baskets from Jones West. Here in Emporia, the course I learned how to play on.
Oh, nice.
And we upgraded the baskets. We upgraded those to the veteran baskets that we have, or the Latitude ones, I think is what's out there now. But we upgraded the baskets, and I was part of that process. And I told Jeremy that, hey, man, hole 12 may come up missing. You may never see it again.
There she gone.
And she gone. And he's like, do it. It took him a minute to be like, what are you talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, take it. And one cool thing we did do with those baskets was we donated those to schools. Nice. So if you drive through Emporia, every school has at least 1, 2, 3 baskets out there. Every sorority, every fraternity. There's baskets everywhere in Emporia, Kansas. It's insane. So everywhere. I was fortunate enough to get one of those. And then my other basket is hole number 10 from Lemon Lake, the blue course, which was my last hole at Pro Worlds, the last basket I tapped in on. I saw that they were selling those and upgrading their baskets. They were upgrading them to new baskets for the courses, and they were selling those as kind of ways to, which is a great way, guys. I know I'm kind of all over the place now, but it's a great It's a great idea if you guys are looking to upgrade baskets. Sell off the ones you currently have, and that'll help fund the new ones if you want to do it that route. But that's what they were doing. I hit them up. I said, hey, I want number 10, whatever it takes, and they just sent it to me.
Yeah.
So the club, thanks to the club up there and everybody that was involved. But that's my little one rabbit hole that we're going to go down of cool things that I have, the baskets that I have. So
still, like, that's amazing because first of all, that's one of a kind. Nobody else can have those same baskets that you have. Like, if I had my first Ace basket, like, I'd probably have to go cut it out.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they've ever replaced.
What hole was it?
It was hole 9 at Brentwood I think it was Brentwood Disc Golf Course. It was a 9-hole course in San Angelo, Texas.
Texas. Mm-hmm. Nice.
San Angelo, Texas. And you know what's funny is that ace happened when I was like 27.
Wow.
And I just told you I've been playing since I was like 12 or 13.
So it took a while to get that first ace.
Yeah, it's just a long time.
But you got it. But you got it. But time sucking.
Yeah, and what was great is that Carly, my wife, was there. And I threw it was like a 12-speed on like a 345-foot hole, but it was a Star Destroyer, and I ripped this thing, and it felt so good. I was like, sweet, I'm going to have a birdie putt, because that hole was pretty challenging. There was creek on the right that you kind of carried the entire time, and then OB long over this little cart path.
Dope.
So just to kind of land in the putting area on that basket, you felt good about the shot. So I was like,
nice.
Oh, yes, it's going to be parked. I'm going to deuce this hole. Boom, skips off the front. Dead center, and I had Carly there as a witness, and that really is what kind of got her like, wow, this sport is sick. Like, you just threw it in from so far.
That's what happens. Actually, that's funny that my mom witnessed me get an eagle at the Memorial one year.
Oh yeah,
a massive throw in with a truth one year. It was cool. They were out there watching. So, but okay, so your first ace, it sounds like it was a challenging hole. Mine, not so much. Mine was like a 220-foot hyzer that I threw a whippet on.
Oh, whippet!
I aced that hole twice with 2 different whippets, and then an AVR or something like that for the second time. So my first 3 aces were on the same hole out front. So it was the hole that everybody aced. You know, it was one of those holes. It was a really easy hole, but I don't care. I still have the basket. It went in.
Yeah,
that's all that really matters. So that was your first ace. Let me know. What was your most memorable ace? Because if anybody's hit aces, they have a most memorable ace, even if it's their first one, because that's obviously, you know, that feeling. Anytime you hit an ace, you're feeling good about yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
But what was your most memorable ace?
So I would say that my most memorable ace wasn't even my ace. It was actually my wife's ace. So cool story. We go up to a little course called Ghost Town in Colorado, in the mountains of Colorado.
Nice.
And I can't remember what the actual town is, but it was called Ghost Town is the course.
It's still there, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You can go out there and go rip. And
I've
really
seen
cool
pictures or videos of people playing it.
It's like a bunch of abandoned buildings and like just...
You mean
like mountain golf?
Like a ghost town?
It's like spooky.
So it's not just a clever name.
It's not. It's like super legit. Like, people just like left stuff here like later. So, but anyways, we go up there because Carly has a like all girls round. There was like
nice.
There was like six ladies there. You know, and I was like the one husband that was like, oh, is it cool if I just like tag along?
Can I just watch?
You know, I totally wanted to go play that course, dude. It was like 2 hours away, and
right.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, anyways, so I'm out there and I'm randomly filming on my cell phone, and this is like 6 or 7 years ago. So the cell phone filming was
not as good as it is today.
You guys all know, yeah. So
not as good as it is today.
But anyways, I busted out like hole 9. And then everybody throws, and Carly's the last one to throw, and she rips a DX rock across the valley on hole 9 and jams it was like a 235-foot ace, all air. I got it on video. All the girls are going nuts. You know, it was
that is so
super
cool.
Sick. Everybody was there.
Was this her first ace?
That was her second ace.
Her second ace, okay.
So, and Carly hit an ace like within 3 months of playing.
Of course she did.
Hate her. But
she is so good.
She's good. She's a
solid
athlete.
player.
But anyways, we're driving back down the mountain that day, and Carly gets like what is it called when
vertigo?
Vertigo. Where your equilibrium gets all jacked.
Denise gets that as well.
Yeah, altitude poisoning or whatever. But anyways, we're coming back down the mountain, and she's like being all super woozy.
Been there.
Has me pull over. I'm like, okay, I get it. Whatever. We get home and it continues. We're like, what is happening? Come to find out, she's pregnant with our second.
Oh.
And that was like the same day, like, boom, here's our second. Yeah, here's our second kid coming in the world, and here's Carly's second ace. So it was a pretty memorable and sweet day. So I don't have a memorable ace except for Carly's ace, which was just such a cool experience for the entire day.
That is awesome. Like, that is not what I was expecting to hear. I was expecting you to tell me about some killer ace that you hit in I don't know, Japan or something when you were over there, but
Right.
that's insane. That's really cool. And the fact that, it was the same day you found out that you're going to be a dad for the second time. And if you didn't know, TaKo does have 2 daughters. And how old are Haley and Lily?
Haley, who's our oldest, she's 11. And then Lily, who's obviously the youngest, is our 6-year-old.
The cutest little girl you've ever seen.
They're funny kids.
Yeah,
Both
they're
are
fantastic
really
children. I love them both.
Got super lucky. So, but yeah, so that was just like one of the best experiences I think ever for both of us on that day.
Absolutely. How could it not be? I mean, that's really cool. That's really, really cool.
And so like, what was, obviously you heard did you have a memorable ace, and what was that? And,
oh, yeah. I mean, I've hit a bunch of aces. I don't know the number of aces that I've hit, but a few of them come to mind. I've hit a few aces for some pretty good money at leagues and whatnot. I know Waterworks League, there's a league up there. At least there used to be a league. Every Thursday night in the winter, all winter long, they play Glow League, and we used to go up there and play that league, and the ace pot would always get up to like $1,000. So one year or week, whatever you want to say, I actually hit that ace and took home that money. But that's the funny thing is that's not even my most memorable. Like my most memorable, you got my brain turning here on thinking about other aces that I've witnessed, and I was there when Barsby aced hole 4 at De La.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a funny, quick story, a little sidetrack on this real quick, but on that, Barsby aces hole 4 at De La, right?
Which is like impossible to get to in
insane.
the air.
Like if I get a 2 on that hole, I'm like I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I play that hole for 3.
That's insane. It's just an insane hole.
Yeah. So Barsby aces that hole. Doss on the same card aced hole 21, the little dinker through the woods.
Yeah.
The same round. So I'm on like a hole or 2 in front of them. You know how De La right there, 4, 5, 6, 7 are all kind of like right in that little area. Mm-hmm. I was on the hole going down the hill, which is 4, 5, 6, I think, as he was on 4.
Yep.
And I aced hole 20 at De La, which is the hole that the parking lot is right there. The tee pad is right by the parking lot, and that big, massive turnover shot, blind shot.
It's like tucked up in the hill. It's like
on
the
side of a little mount. Yeah.
Yeah, that is such...
It was a nasty ace with a meteor, just a huge massive turnover. It was all luck, I'm not going to lie. Wow. But in California, I was getting at California, when people ace, people just are supposed to give you dollars. There's no ace pots, right? They just give you dollars. Yeah. I got like $6 for that ace because it outshined Barsby's ace, which, as it should. Barsby's ace was... an ace, and mine was like a birdie, but no, that's funny. That's got me thinking about my most. But definitely, I want to go with. We were in Sweden, 2015 maybe. I don't remember. I'm bad with years, but a few years ago, Bobby and I actually went to Sweden, and it was the year before the Scandinavian Open. And we were there to do video promotions for the event, like do hole-by-hole breakdowns on how I play the hole. It was myself, David Felberg, and Devin Owens. All 3 of us were the ones doing it. So like I would talk about the tee shot. I would throw a tee shot, and then Devin would throw the approach, and then Dave would throw the putt, kind of thing. You know. So we just broke down holes that way. It was a great video. It's out there somewhere. You can go check it out. But anyway, they went home, and Bobby and I stuck around for a few extra days, and there was a tournament at the course we were staying at, which is my favorite course I've ever played. Which is disc golf Terminalen, I think is how you pronounce it. It's in Skellefteå. It's where Latitude 64 is. There's like 4 or 5 courses, something like that, on one piece of property.
List.
Yes.
New square.
Oh, yes. But we played a tournament called the 81-hole challenge. All right, 81 hole challenge. 81 holes. It was like, what is that? 4.5 rounds, 5.5, something like that.
It's too much
math,
to think
right?
About.
But so how it worked was we got up early, we played the first tournament round, and then you take like a 20-minute break, and then you go right back out there and play another 18, 20-minute break. Go back out there, another 18, and so on and so on, right? Well, people were dropping like flies. Like, done. I'm done. I'm not here. Forget it. I'm out of here.
On the sidelines throwing up.
Oh man, like arms just like. Thankfully, the course, the last few courses at least aren't super long, right? Okay. So it's a little bit. It's like a mids and putter type course. The last couple are, so you can get through it.
So many throws,
and the sun doesn't go down so you can play until midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning if you want, right? So the time is not a factor. And so I remember on this trip, I was looking at Bobby every time we went and played, and I was trying to get an ace because that's all I ever wanted was a Swedish Ace for whatever reason. Because I've got an ace in Canada, up at Kamloops. I got an ace, obviously, in the United States, a handful of them. And I've played in Europe, and I wanted to get a European ace. And I came down to my 81st hole, and I legit turned back to my group. Johannes was on my card. Bobby was there, he wasn't filming, but he was there because he had already stopped playing his round. Bobby. He quit playing his round. After like two rounds, I think he made it. But makes sense. He doesn't play golf, So, I mean, playing 81 holes
it's just throwing
is crazy. So I turned to my group. I said, hey, guys, this is my last opportunity at a Swedish Ace. And then, sure enough, dead center chains, a little uphill, probably 320.
Yeah.
And it just boom, it hit dead center. And I was like in awe that it happened. It was like, did that? Like, no, that did not just happen. But
what was the disc?
It was, I mean, obviously I can give you one guess and I bet you guess what it is. But if you can guess the time frame, it was a Truth.
Oh.
It was not an EMAC Truth because this was pre-EMAX. This was a PreMac, I guess you would call it, is what AJ Risley kind of coined the name of the Lucid Truth is the PreMac, which I love. But it was a yellowish, like that yellow, that hybrid plastic. Kind of like the Am Worlds ones from 2013. Those. Yep. It was like one of those, but it was blank, and it was yellow hybrid, and it had my silhouette in the corner. And I think I've hit like 3 or 4 aces with that disc.
So good.
But that one, that disc? Oh yeah, absolutely. I 100% still have that
81st hole of it.
81st hole, and I won the tournament. I don't remember. I think I walked away with the tournament, but it was that didn't even matter to me. After I hit that ace, I didn't even care that I just won the tournament. I hit my ace that I wanted, and
the feet alone, a 300+ foot hole on your last throw, basically of an 81 hole.
81.
I'm still just like
holes. Not to mention warm-up holes that you played before the round, and
that's like if you're really killing it, that's like okay, minimum of 162 tosses with your ace, 161, 161 throws.
I've got a trophy. It's over on the wall that Thomas made for me. One of the founders of Latitude 64, Thomas. We call him Tompa. He did a little breakdown over there, and it has every round what I shot and all that on it. So it was memorable, man. That was not just a memorable ace, but now looking back, it is one of my most favorite wins too.
That's epic. I mean, first of all, Europe. I'm sure I've never played European golf. I've been to Europe. I just have never played disc golf. It's
European golf is like. It's a whole nother level of professionalism over there. Like you guys have seen the videos of European Open, the things that UC has done with that tournament, and people come out of the woodwork just to spectate that, and just thousands of people lining the fairways, and you get treated like a real professional athlete, and it makes you feel good inside. Like, I mean, you're like, when you're there, you're like, man, we made it. We've made it. And like every course has like turf tees and great baskets, and the list goes on and on. I mean,
if you're wearing shorts, you're like, man, I underdressed.
It's. I mean, there's a reason that Finland has the most courses per capita, assuming that's still the case. But it's amazing, man. It really is amazing. So
jelly.
Yeah, but you've played some tournaments in your day, so let me know what was your first ever tournament, not tournament win, but your first like official tournament that you've gone out. First tournament that you've gone and played that you're like, that you're kind of nervous for signing up and all that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So again in San Angelo, this was like where I started to do competitive disc golf, and I think that was because they had like a doubles league, a singles league, and they also had a handicap league. So I really got into disc golf there. And just being in those leagues, the guys were like talking about, hey, we got this tournament coming up, and I was like, oh cool, what is that, what do you do in those,
what's a tournament?
So they're like, oh, there's these rules you got to go by. I was like, what? Like You mean it's different than
So I can't drink my beer when I go and play?
Yeah, well, I didn't really do a whole lot of that, but
okay.
I was definitely like, I had no idea
what
these rules are. So I was like a little intimidated. So I signed up for I think it was the 7th annual Crush on the Concho.
Ooh, that's a great event. That event's still happening.
They do a really good job. And so like I signed up as a novice, which was like at the time below rec.
Right.
Right. So it was like novice division. I think there was like, I don't know, 30 or 40 people in my division. And it was a pretty large tournament. It was over like 100 something people, but I got a player's pack and I was like, what is this? Like, I haven't even done anything. And then like I got some discs. So that
what
made
is
me
this?
super stoked.
How did I? Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I think after the first round or the first night of the competition, they had glow golf. And I had never experienced that.
Yeah.
So that was awesome and a nightmare at the same time. Because, disc golf is hard in the day, let alone here. Let's take away one of your senses.
Although sometimes I play a lot better at night when you don't know where the trees are.
Yeah, you're just like, okay,
assuming it's a course you're familiar with.
Yes. Yeah. So, but this was out at the lake, which is like not really that familiar with the lake course. I played in town more often.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, it was like just like a really cool experience. I took like 8th place in novice.
Nice.
Which
that's
was
not
great.
Bad.
A couple 800 rated rounds.
That's not bad at all. You kidding?
No, yeah, but I took like 8th out of whatever. I got like $56, and I was like, whoa, hang on a second. I get more things after you guys.
I don't just get a player pack.
Yeah, so
I get actual payout.
It was so cool to like get. I think I walked away with like 6 or 7 discs after that tournament,
and that was probably, if I'm not mistaken, back when you didn't get to pick your prizes. Probably right. It was one of those like, here's your bag of discs that you won.
Yeah,
that's how it was when I was playing AM. At least it was like, here's your bag.
Here's this.
Walmart sack.
Yeah. Like literally like, I could just like go right through the side like I'm eating Chinese food.
Yeah, right.
It's just like pull it open. But anyways, like that was great. And then they had a Ring of Fire. And Ring of Fires, in my opinion, are one of the best ways to just kind of like get a bunch of people to enjoy a little bit more of disc golf after they either just got their butt kicked by the event or they played it really well. It's just like,
and it's great for TDs too, because it kills time while you're trying to add up. Well, let me rephrase. Back then, when you were trying to add up scores and like hand put things into the
scoreboard,
the score points,
leaning over people's shoulders to see where you're at on that.
It's
crazy.
So it's
different. UDIS, thank you. And PDGA live scoring. It's like
and technology in general. I mean, I remember signing up for tournaments back in the day by getting the Disc Golf World News magazine and physically cutting out like coupon codes, that you cut out, it's like a cutout, and then mail a check to the TD. I remember signing up for tournaments that way because that's all you could do, or sign up the day of. We also signed up for a lot of tournaments the day of, but it's crazy what we've come to now. But I sound so old. Like, get off my lawn.
Well, that's insane because like how would you really, if you didn't have the magazine? It was just word of mouth.
That's really all it was back. I mean, there was obviously. I'm not a dinosaur. We had internet back then, but it wasn't like what we were using it for now. As far as we weren't using it to its full capability as like we are now. But yeah, so that's great. My first tournament was actually a doubles tournament that I played with Jim Ramsey, guy I talked about earlier.
That's right.
We played a doubles tournament in Lawrence, Kansas. The course is still there, Centennial Park. It's a fantastic course. It's a lot of fun. Park-style golf, some elevation, some lengthy holes. And we went into this tournament thinking, we're going to win this thing by a lot. And I think we played like AM2, probably, something like that.
Like so pumped.
So weak. And we got our butts kicked so bad. I don't even remember. I'd have to go back and look at my PDGA page to see what my first actual sanctioned like singles round was. But if I had to guess, I bet it was either in Emporia or Topeka, because I used to play the Mighty Shunganunga every year in Topeka, Kansas.
Nice.
It used to be one of the biggest events in the state. Obviously, I used to go to Oktoberfest every year. I don't know if you're familiar with the Oktoberfest. I went there for 10 straight years. Wow. It was basically just a camping party is all it was, and disc golf was just kind of like the side part,
Yeah, good event if you got to.
Everybody
if you
camped.
Can go back for 10 years in a row. That's a commitment.
Yeah, I went 10 years in a row, and then I started getting more serious about the sport and wanted to travel more and play other events. And October Frizz is in October, go figure. and there's another event in Rock Hill, South Carolina that I had my eyes set on that I wanted to play. So I played that for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So
it's a good trade-off.
It's not too bad. It's really not too bad. So I played a lot of tournaments back then, and the experience is so much different than it is now. But man, there were some great events. I remember just getting stacks of discs. Granted, they were mostly DX discs because that's all we really had back in the day. But it was still just stacks of discs, And I always remember after an event with you and your buddies in the corner, all going through payout and looking at what you got and like trading stuff then and all that good stuff. So man, there's some really good memories from back in the day.
Yeah, I like so like, how many people would you say at an event? Like now, we're rocking out 90 or was 50 good back then?
Oh
yeah, still rocking 90.
Some events, like the bigger events, we could draw in some people, but back then we didn't do tee times either. We just did shotgun starts, so it determined on how many courses you had.
Right.
Obviously, October Frizz, we had 4 18-hole courses, so I think we had a couple hundred people coming out for that every year, maybe even more.
That's awesome.
I mean, and it's GBO obviously is an event that I started, and it's now transitioned into the Dynamic Discs Open, and a lot of people have asked me my feelings on that or my thoughts on it, whatever. And when I first heard about it, I was like, man, that kind of stinks, kind of like I felt like a part of me was dying, my legacy almost, But it's like, at the same time, it clicked. It's like, you know what? The Dynamic Discs Open is going to be bigger and better than the Glass Blown Open was. It's just a name change. It's the GBO is, it's evolved every year. And for those of you that don't know the reasoning why we changed it, is, I mean, it to me it's pretty obvious. It's the Dynamic Discs Open is just, the bigger our sport grows, Dynamic Discs deserves that recognition, to be in the sport and to receive more and more credibility, so to speak. Coffee delivery, man. Look at that. So, but no, yeah, the DD Open is now. Thank you, Denise.
Yes, thank you.
The DD Open is now. I mean, it's the same event. I don't know where I was going with that. I kind of like got, woo. But so it's the same event that it's ever was. It's going to be bigger and better every year. But back then, when I first started running the event, we had 88 players the first year for a B tier.
We were talking about how many people were coming to those
we had
events.
88 players for that first year. My parents came down. They cooked hamburgers and hot dogs for every single competitor because I wanted to feed everybody. So we had that going for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Food at the event.
Food at the events, it doesn't happen very often. Especially back then, it didn't happen very often. But before the first ever Glass Blown Open, there was probably 10 years of Emporia Opens. Just the Emporia Open is what it was called. And one year it was called the Lovable Lawyers Open. Because
Lovable
Lawyers Open, because Kevin Babbitt and Ty Wheeler, who were a big part of disc golf back in the day in Emporia, they ran the club before I had taken it over.
Oh, Babbitt lived out here.
Babbitt lived out. Babbitt was I'll get to that in a minute. But they lived out here. They ran the event. And they were both lawyers. That's their jobs. And so somebody just coined it the Lovable Lawyers Open, and it stuck. So there's been sanctioned events going on in Emporia for 30 years. That's insane.
Awesome. That is
insane.
Okay, so 2020, so that was back 1990.
Yeah.
Or 90s.
In the 90s, there was my first tournament,
80s.
I remember playing Emporia, well, not my first one, but I remember playing in the Emporia Open back in, when I first turned pro? That would have been like 2000 or something like that, and playing with some of my heroes. Or the year before when I played AM and I watched Crazy John Brooks in Emporia, Kansas.
John Brooks.
Battling in the final 9 with him and LaRon, another gentleman that everybody knows. If you guys know who I am, you know who LaRon is because he was my mentor growing up. And
great human.
Oh, yeah. Love him to death. Just some of these old school players. It was so awesome to watch them in Emporia, and I knew Emporia had potential to grow into something massive, and I'm pretty stoked to where we're at today. But, Kevin used to live in Emporia, and we would play. He's where I got the dollar match from. Like, me and him are the ones that started that. Like, we play for $1. We used to always go play for $1. And I don't know what the running total is. Maybe Kevin can hit me up at some point, but the last I know, he owed me at least $20. I mean,
Kevin,
that's probably not right, but it's my show, so I can say that.
There's a way. He can always try to, win it back somehow.
No. He probably would too, man. That guy's a baller, dude. That dude.
He's still 1,000 rated, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure he's hovering at least.
He's got a really low PDGA number.
He almost won. Was it MP50 at Worlds in KC a few years back?
Yeah, I think he was, third.
Was it
Second.
50 or 40? It might have been 40 too.
I think it was 40. I thought he played against Johnny that year.
Well, Johnny may have played 50 too. They both could have. I
guess
don't remember.
so.
I don't remember which one it was,
just
but
ballers,
it was the year Feldberg won MP 40. So I think it might have been. I don't know. Either way, the dude almost won a world championship in the age protected division, which I don't care what you say. That's not easy.
Dude, those dudes are. I was out there at Kansas City walking the course when I was team manager for Latitude 64 and DD. And, But I remember, just watching Patrick Brown rip a drive somewhere. Johnny, just following Johnny, and then guys like Kevin Babbitt, and you just have these talented guys that Ron Con.
He's
what am I doing? Yeah, Ron Con has like 3 world titles. The dude's killing it. He whips my butt like every single round I think I've ever played in him, but I'm like not good. Yep. But either way, Ron just makes it like look so easy because to him, and to even like you guys make it just look so easy because. I always come back to like, okay, you put in the time, you put 10,000 hours into doing something, you're going to be good at it. You know?
Absolutely.
Imagine if you can isolate that into like one type of disc. Oh, man. So like how many hours have you put in with the EMAC Truth?
I couldn't even tell you.
More than 10,000.
I couldn't even tell you. It's when I go and play around, it's the disc. If I can throw that disc on that hole, I'm throwing that disc on that hole.
You throw, and
usually if it's a casual round like we do a lot of, it's usually 3 or 4 of that disc on that hole.
Yeah, I love watching
it's so fun.
EMAC Ace runs, just unloading the EMACs out of the bag.
It's so fun. So fun.
But anyways, like those guys are just so good, and it was just so much fun to, like you were saying,
to get that experience.
Respect on those guys that have been playing, and just really helped this sport get to where it is today.
Speaking of Roncon, fun fact about Roncon, he is the only person that Ralph has ever barked at.
I'm sorry, Ralph barks?
Ralph.
That dog's a mute.
Yes, he barked. It was at when I used to live over on Lawrence Street here in Emporia, and my house used to be like the Pete Cashin's house of well, I don't want to go to that level because Pete Cashin is like up here, and I was like down here. My house was just had as many people as he did staying there. There's probably a better way. I didn't have a pool for him to stay in, for people to swim in, a hot tub, a basketball court, all that stuff. But
what an amazing host has.
Yeah, but that's where everybody would stay, right? And Ron was staying there one year, and he walked in the house, and I'm sure it was his big crazy hat that he wears. But Ralph just went off. It was nuts. It was borderline. It was borderline funny. It was like,
what did Ron do?
Just did Ron things by just grinned.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see him just like laughing.
Yeah, and obviously they became friends.
Right.
Spoiler alert: they became friends, and so
even though everybody wants to see that bandage on Ron's hand in an old picture from Ralph biting him.
That's right.
I don't even think Ralph would ever bite anything.
I don't think Ralph's never bit anything. I got bit by Maverick once.
Dude, I remember you coming back from lunch and just hands all wrapped up. And I was like, what?
Real quick, that'll be my last story. Maverick, we have a big privacy fence in the backyard, and there's a telephone pole, kind of like wires that run through the backyard. And squirrels like to run on that and, basically tease Maverick and Ren. Ralph could care less. He just,
naturally, being a squirrel.
He could not care less. He just does not care. And so he would run. And if you follow me, you've probably seen some of these videos, but he ran full speed and he jumps into the fence like parkour off the fence, right? And the privacy fence, one of the slats went in.
Oh no.
And it came back out on his paw, and he was hanging from the fence like 3 feet up, and he was screaming bloody murder. And I just sprinted out. Luckily I was in the backyard already. I ran over there, scooped him up, and he didn't know what was going on. He just launched. What's the word I'm looking for? Latched. There you go. That's the word. Latched down on my hand and just got me right on it was my left hand, and it was his tooth went right through my fingernail.
Oh my gosh.
And it was awesome. It hurt so stinking bad. He felt so bad after it happened. He had to run it. He ran in the house under the table, and he just kind of looked at me like, I'm so sorry. Dude, like, I didn't mean to do it. Right? I did not mean to do that. I thought you were the squirrel coming to get me.
Panic mode.
No, it was not cool.
Oh my gosh! At least it was the non-throwing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I was smart enough to grab my grab him like that, you know, and I was, well, my right hand's obviously my stronger one, so I was trying to push the fence in with it, and
perfect, yeah.
he's good. He's happy. He did not learn his lesson. He's still hardcore parkours off the fence, off the trees.
The tree, yeah, we were out with him the other day, and he went up and climbed on a tree.
Yeah, he did. Chasing a squirrel.
I mean, way up there.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Speaking of dogs, this is kind of the last thing I wanted to do. As most of you know, I am sponsored by Birdie Fuel Coffee. Right there. There you go. We're drinking some right now. I have 2 styles of coffee through them. I have a coffee called PreMac, which is, I mean,
super witty.
Oh, it's so good. Name. It's so good.
And it's it's a great roast.
It's great. Yeah, it's dark.
Coffee-Mac.
It's rich. It's very good. Mm-hmm. And then I also have a light blend called Dogleg, and it's got Ralphie on it. I've got one right here. And how I want to give this away is, so this is going to go out on 2 different types of channels. I am going to do an audio podcast for this and a YouTube video as well. So podcast listeners, go find my YouTube page. It's Eric McCabe. It's super easy to find, and find this episode. And just all I want you to do is like that video and comment down below, I want that coffee. And we'll pick a random winner. We'll give you a week or so after this goes live, and we will pick a winner there and get some delicious Birdie Fuel coffee sent out to you. Thanks to those guys. They've been doing big things. You know, you always love seeing a non-disc golf related company getting involved in the sport, whether it's Birdie Fuel, Bushnell, or you know, whoever else. Grip 6 comes to mind. They've been doing big things in our sport, which is awesome to see. I'm sure there's a handful. OGO back when we were partners with them, all that fun stuff. So a lot of cool things. We're doing a lot of fun things. We've got I just dropped a video yesterday. I don't know what day this is probably going to come out. Probably Friday is when this is going to come out. So I dropped that video on Tuesday morning of us playing Jones Gold, the dollar match, which was so much fun to shoot and film and edit and all that. And having Jonathan there was pretty cool. And officially welcoming him to the team was such a surreal moment kind of thing to get it on camera.
Yeah, totally.
And that was just a lot of fun.
Authentic, you know. He was.
Yeah, he had no idea that was coming.
It was the look like this just happened. This was something that I put a lot of work into, and I've asked before. I remember he, you know, definitely was looking to try to get on the team.
Yep.
Before, and it just, you know.
And he was on DD Carrollton.
Yeah, he was
Carrollton
DD
is who he was
first sponsored player. And shout out to Steve-O for doing the things that he does out there.
Yes.
But it was just like a really cool moment. Like, that's one of those things, like in your disc golf life, that having that moment, you know,
pretty cool.
Materializes.
Yeah,
it was
for
great.
sure.
So congratulations, Jonathan.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then this past weekend, it was supposed to be beautiful weather. It was in the 50s, I think, which is pretty nice. Not as nice as today. My goodness, it was almost 70 today.
Out.
But yeah, I was on the lake all day. Shh, don't tell anyone. But no, the other day we went up to Kansas City with our wives, with Carly and Denise, and actually we brought Maverick and Ren as well. They were a little crazy at times, but we brought them all, and we played Bad Rock Creek. We wanted to play a new course that TaKo and his wife have not played yet.
Loved it.
Denise and I had played Bad Rock Creek for a handful of times, handful of events, and we decided, let's go play this and let's film it. Let's figure out what we're gonna do, and we decided couples doubles is what we decided. Yep. So that video is going to be sweet. I cannot wait to get that one put together.
Excited, yeah. I would like to see what's going down.
That one should be, within the next week or so when it's going to drop. I'm going to drop this one first, though, just so we have, our first official episode out there for people to watch and or listen to. So not just that, but we've got a lot of other really cool things in the works for this channel.
Yep.
We have a list. A list right here. I'm looking at it in front of me of things that we want to do. So there's a lot of cool things. And if you want to comment down below what you'd like to see us do that, please. I one of our last ideas I think we got from a comment on one of the pages. So more of that, the better. We're definitely going to do a lot more content, even in the winter when it's cold and all that fun stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So
yeah, I think it's just really about just enjoying the fact of just doing things and then giving other people ideas and inspiration to do things as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
it's gonna be fun.
TaKo approached me with this idea of doing a podcast or a video cast, whatever we want to call it. I mean, it's super casual. It's what we want it to be. We're not trying to go crazy with it or anything like that, but we just want to sit down. We like to talk. We like to talk about disc golf, and that's pretty much what we're going to do.
And what's funny is that Carly's always like, anytime we come over and hang out with Eric and Denise, like, I really don't want to talk about disc golf. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, well, I do.
Well, but I do.
And I think
so that's
Eric
what we're going to do.
does.
So we are going to do that, and the girls are upstairs talking about other things. I don't know what. But I can smell that chili, and I'm hungry.
Gosh.
And thank you guys so much for watching this, liking, subscribing, sharing, all that content that you guys have, or all the content we're putting out that you guys are hopefully enjoying, and I hope to keep this up. So let me know in the comments what you'd like to see as far as other topics that we talk about on this show as well. Just load that comment section up with whatever you guys want. I'd love to read it. I actually do go through and read them all, so I will go through and check them all out. But
you're good at responding too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely
if there's questions on there, I'll definitely respond to them. And make sure you guys get on there, like and subscribe to the channel. And you have any parting words?
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.